Inequalities are growing in a majority of countries. This is a very important finding which is now shared very widely. But I think the most important fact that one has to remember is that inequality is rising because market forces are going in that direction. It's not because of a weaker ability of taxes or social protection to address inequality. It is rather because simply markets produce more inequality. Why is this so? First of all, because the bargaining power of big enterprises, the bargaining power of finance has increased so much through volatility of capital, through the pressures of the financial system on the real economy. It has increased so much that these sectors, low income sectors, become much less able to claim the fair share of growth, but high income sectors get a much higher proportion of economic growth. That's the first factor, the influence of finance, the influence of big corporations. The second factor has to do with labor market institutions. The fact is that it is much more difficult for traditional labor market institutions, collective bargaining, through employment security, to arrest those market forces. This is because in a number of countries there have been labor market reforms that weaken those institutions. And I think that's a very important driver of increased inequality. Of course, this is not a universal phenomenon. There is a continent in the world where this has not happened, which also suggests it's not fatality, increased inequalities. This is Latin America. In Latin America, because of balanced labor market reforms, because of efforts to formalize employment, because of an attempt also to address, to a certain extent, the volatility of capital flows, inequalities have been attenuated somewhat. Of course, much remains to be done, but something has been done, has been achieved, and this is a lesson to us all. In addition to those important country experiences, I think it's important to remember that one needs much more international cooperation in order to address those market forces, and in particular to fight international tax competition, also better enforce international labor standards, in particular core labor standards, and finally to extend social protection systems. That's why the ILO has this important initiative, which is the extension of social protection floors throughout the world. With this in mind, if this happens, there will be, through the markets themselves, less inequalities, and therefore we will live in a richer and more equal world.